I think it's just, I don't like it. I think it's, I think people need to get over themselves.
I think in general, just like people not feeling comfortable, like saying hi and like doing those types of things, like not feeling comfortable, like, I don't know. They don't want to be awkward, so they make it awkward by trying not to be awkward, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I think it is that experience of walking past someone and not being certain whether to say hello.
I think it's something that was described to me when I first came here, and I haven't really seen it in action. I feel like it's something that's almost being phased out, like it's something that the upperclassmen talk about, and just by talking about it, it's kind of making it bad for the current freshmen because we don't really see it. Or maybe some people do. I don't see it, my friends don't see it.
The Amherst Awkward is when you know someone and you're sort of walking like across each other, but you completely ignore each other and in no way try to acknowledge each other. Sometimes it can even happen with someone you do know, and I especially find that really bad because it's like you know someone, just saying hi or a wave or a smile or any indication of like, oh, you're a person that I know is totally fine.
I guess the Amherst Awkward is seeing someone you clearly know and they clearly know you and not saying hi, like even if like whether you see each other or not, like if I see, like whether you make eye contact or not, like just not acknowledging that person for whatever reason. It could be some, like it could be a good reason, it could be just something really silly, but like just not making the effort, not being willing to reach out, I guess is how I describe it.
It's like people who've talked to each other like regularly in a friendly way before, sometimes we just won't say hi just for whatever reason. Like they'll just walk by each other. And it's weird.
I have heard of the Amherst Awkward. I didn't know what that meant, to be honest. I went to UMass for my master's, and so I had never heard of the Amherst Awkward until I got here, and it took me a while to really fully understand what that meant or what that really means. In my short amount of time here, I have my own interpretation of what it is, and I'm not sure if it's exactly what other students or people think it is, but for me, I don't think I have a definition of the Amherst Awkward. I think it's just more of, I know a lot of the conversations that are happening right now is just a sense of belonging on campus and students feeling connected and a sense of belonging to the college campus, and just loneliness and like all the studies that the college has done around sense of belonging. And I think for me, maybe a lot of those things are, I think, produce the Amherst Awkward in the good ways and the bad ways as well. But yeah, I guess in a way I'm still trying to figure it out and what's that grounded in and what does that mean for students. I'm not a student, I'm a staff member, so I think I have a particular lens when I'm looking at student interaction and sense of belonging, which I'm sure it's just, I think I have more of a cultural and like institutional like way of looking at it, but I think for students it's a very real lived experience. It's like interpersonal, it's like the self, it's much more of getting, putting yourself out there. So I think the way that people define and think the Amherst Awkward, I think is just like really interesting, so.
I think it's a mixture of social anxiety, again, that people just sometimes have the inclination of like being scared of like having to say hi to someone, like there is an intimidation that comes from that. But it also is the way that social culture here is really based on this idea of like we hang out in separate groups and this is how we spend time with each other, and these are the only people I will acknowledge who are my friends, and I really won't bother about anybody else. And I'm not gonna lie, that is something very much that I and everybody and a lot of other people continue sort of perpetuating. But it's sort of how I mentioned earlier, this like way of people boxing each other in and not necessarily trying to get out of that.
People just are like, don't make the effort to like say hi, how are you, or like anything like that. And I think like it's just awkward. Like when you say hi and the person doesn't say hi back, it's awkward. Like it's not good. And like I think a lot of people just I don't know, have hard time expressing their feelings as well. I don't know if that's like everyone feels the need to be like okay and like all right, but like if you ask someone what they're doing, it's just like awkward responses. I don't know, like I think some people just feel uncomfortable in this campus and like they don't belong, and I think that manifests in a way that they don't feel the need to see other people or meet other people.
I think if people were less scared to be vulnerable and less scared to like talk to people, I think it would be much less awkward.
I think it depends on like your like comfort zone level and like being like letting yourself be vulnerable, like putting yourself out there as opposed to like, well, I don't know this person, so I don't want to talk to them. Well, no. But yeah, I think that if you like say, okay, I don't care what people think of me, because normally like they're not gonna, like people don't care whether, you know, you talk to them or not. But yeah, I think that if you let yourself be vulnerable and if you let yourself talk to people, like really great things can come of it. But you have to like take that first step.
I think we should just try to make this like less of an uncomfortable space for people and more welcoming and stuff, so that people who are shy won't really feel like they can't make friends. They can actually feel like they can talk to people or sit with new crowds and like sit with new crowds in Val or something, like, or study with different people in the library, because it'll be a welcoming and like pretty inclusive environment and without the Amherst Awkward. So.
I don't know, I think there's so many fabulous people on this campus, and people are missing a lot of opportunities to meet people who would change their perspectives on things, and I think that's a loss.
Having something for folks to learn knowledge, skills, and a language, and how to interact with each other. That's not an intellectual endeavor, because I think there's a lot of academics, but it's hard to go from, you know, here to like your heart. You know, it's hard to make that shift from being in your head to being like more like with your heart and with your gut and with other people, which it's intimidating. Which I think that's why I think there needs to be a space, or there should be a space where that's to be kind of supported and happening.
But I really do think that the magic behind Amherst is the idea of meeting people from many different backgrounds and like learning all sorts of different things from them. Because if it wasn't for that, I don't even know who my friends would be. What I'm actually thinking about doing for the rest of my life is definitely influenced about, you know, these sorts of like ideas about people and like how we interact. Like just coming here has drastically changed my perception about social interactions since high school. So I think it's really important for people to care, and I think that's one message that I think people should really try to get across. It's caring about yourself, caring about people here, regardless if they're your friend or not, and helping one another are really just important values.